Welcome to Nothing to Fear podcast. I go by the name Chris Blanca Pro. I started this podcast to share my untold story, my truths, and my journey, and my close relationship to Jesus Christ. And I want you to create a life on your own terms. We always have a choice. This podcast is about career, hustle, perseverance, manifestation, fun, sport, entertainment, relationship goals, and making it happen on your terms.
Hey guys, welcome to the Nothing to Fear podcast. I go by the name of Blanco Pro, and this podcast this week we have the very talented, special, beautiful, outspoken Ashley Rosen said, and she have a lot to talk about today. And who joined me today? You've been missing for a while.
Right, I have been
Beautiful
missing for a
dude.
while.
My co-host.
Okay,
He's here today. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm doing
How
good.
you been?
I've been good. You know, the kids been keeping me up.
Yeah.
But I'm back. Okay, I'm back and I'm better.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. They're very quiet. Right now, they're very trained. I see them inside chilling. I mean, like, they're trained to be by themselves. Like that's fire. How are you doing today, Ashley?
I'm fantastic. You know, the rain is out,
Yep.
but we're in.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
That totally made sense. So that's how I feel.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how you feeling.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, I've been doing my little research.
Okay, research.
I heard about it.
You heard
I
through
heard
the
about-
grapevine.
I heard about through the grapevine. I heard all
Okay.
the accolades.
Little birdie told you.
I heard all. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like,
Tweet.
can we have her over here and set so we can inspire somebody out there in the world?
I would love to. Thank you so much for having me. And I always
Yeah.
love like talking about my experience and just kind of like bringing the ladder back down so other people can find a way to climb up themselves. You know what I mean? Giving people the tools that I wish I had in the industry first coming up that I would have loved to have learned about or loved to have heard.
Oh man. Oh, Mr. Producer, how you been today? I hope you're doing fine, man. We haven't seen you for a couple of days, but we're back. It's a Nothing to Fear podcast, guys. Remember, like, share, and subscribe, and bring one to the community. Bring someone to the community, please. Please, bring them over here.
Join the
So,
family.
Ashley, my first question to you today.
Indeed.
I want to dip into your life a little bit.
Beautiful, okay.
Just to let the people out there in the Nothing to Fear land understand and know why. What inspired you to pursue the career in modeling, acting, social media influencing?
Beautiful. Okay. Well, I actually started performing when I was about like 3 years old. My grandma was the first person to really tell me like, oh, there's something about you that is special. I think you should pursue that.
Yeah.
And in like my mom's kind of like lineage, there was a lot of like singers, people that did poetry.
Yeah.
So being artistically inclined was always in my lineage. It was just something I discovered on my own that I wanted to do, and my family co-signed it. So ever since that, I would be in like different musicals through school. I was into dance. I was into choir. I was a theater kid. Okay, jazz hands. I was a theater kid. It is what it is. I'm admitting it now, right? I went to theater school. I went to a college. I went to a conservatory. I went for dance. So I was trained in ballet, contemporary jazz, hip hop, tap dancing. But since it was a theater school, you also train in singing and you also train in acting. So you have to get like all three of them pretty much.
Yep.
And then I graduated. I wasn't booking anything dance related. So I started taking pictures for fun. It was a fun way of expressing myself and storytelling in a different medium, if you will. And I really appreciated that. But I started getting good at it. Started getting paid for it.
Of course.
Started having people reach out like, hey, we want you to model over here. And I really think that dancers make some of the best models just because we're trained to know what we look like from every which angle. We're constantly looking in the mirror with our alignment and our shapes. So it was a very easy segue. So I started modeling. And then I got into acting within like the last couple of years. I got signed with my talent agency, Stewart Talent Agency. And through that, I started doing movies. I've done 3 different feature films. One's called Who Invited Charlie? That's on Amazon Prime. Feel free to check us out.
Please.
Bird of 9 Lives. You know, it's an action film. I'm a lead in that one. Still going through the festival circuit. But come this fall, this winter, it should be out. Streaming platforms, not sure yet. I'll let you know. Okay? Brownstones, web series. It's on YouTube. Check us out. That's lit as well. Also started doing voiceovers this year as well, so that's really fun. Love that a lot.
I picked that off the rip. I heard that. I heard off the rip because when you're into art,
Yeah.
then you understand. When you
Yeah.
listen to someone say something, you're like, yo, that's not regular.
Honestly, I was talking to my homies about this. I honestly and truly, and I'm sure like you guys can co-sign this. I honestly feel like when you're really about the craft or you're really about the game, you can recognize very clearly when other people are about it too.
Especially when they embrace it.
When you
Like,
really embrace it and you really love it, you could tell someone really worked on it, or you could tell somebody like eat, breathes, like they sleep in that. You can just kind of see it by how they show up, how they speak about it, the energy that they put towards it. I feel like you can always peep that for sure.
Yeah, that's fire. Like that's when that's when networking is very important, and they say you should listen, which is number one, but you should have a say too, because when you open that mouth, then people's gonna understand who you are.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Not only that, it's like you get to connect with people on such a different level, especially when you're going to go out there and like talk about what you do, and you find other people that have that like-minded look when it comes to the things that you are passionate about. That's so key.
I completely agree.
So I have heard that you've done a lot, okay? Which bravo to you.
Thank you,
right?
sis.
So, what is your favorite field that you like do on a regular basis, and then how did you get started in that?
So like, I feel like, and I've always felt this way, when I graduated college and I was dabbling in all the different things, people still talk about it nowadays. They'll be like, oh, you need to have a niche. What's your niche? Like, what's your one thing that you like love? But I would look at people like Janelle Monáe, who actually went to my college, went to my conservatory. Yeah, she went to AMDA College of the Performing Arts, actually. And she's very multifaceted. She sings, she acts, she's a musician, she does all these different things. And I'm like, okay, like, I do want to pick one thing, but I'm good at all of these different things, and there are opportunities in each of these things. So I figured out a way in which I could do all of those things. So I do the acting, I do the modeling. I also
they all
do
intertwine.
They all intertwine. They really do, because it's
all of them.
they
all
do.
intertwine.
It's
And
storytelling.
They feed off each other's.
They feed off each other.
They strengthen each other's.
Exactly.
It also helps you inside of each field that you choose,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Because like, I'm a photographer and I started off as a model. So being a model first and then going into photography, it definitely
see
goes
both
out there.
sides,
It allows
probably.
you to go out there and you
Yeah.
have a complete different perspective.
I completely agree. I've always been told as an actor, like, you should be a production assistant. You should work behind the scenes to understand the logistics
It gives you a
of
different
how everything
appreciation,
works.
too.
It gives you a really dope appreciation and like respect, and you understand just everything and how to be better at like that other thing that you want to do. It's like multifaceted, if you will.
Yep.
But to answer your question, didn't really answer it. So sorry. Right now it's acting. Right now acting really satiates me. I feel like I've always been a very highly sensitive person. And so to have the outlet where I can release my emotions and I get clapped for when I cry 15 times in a row is pretty nice. So I'm like, okay, cool. I really like that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, who is your biggest role model or inspiration in the industry?
So like I was always told it's very important as an artist to have like a dead role model, someone that you are inspired by but is no longer here. So mine is Eartha Kitt. I really appreciate that she's a feminist. I really appreciate that she was outspoken with her platform and her craft, and she was a singer, she was an actress, she was a dancer. She did so many things, and she made it all work for her. She was also a voiceover actress.
Yeah.
Did you ever see The Emperor's New Groove or like Crunk's New Groove or anything? She was Yzma.
She was?
She was Yzma. Yeah, my
Word?
girl. I'm serious. Yes, my girl voiced that. Yes, she did all of that, and she made it work for her while still remaining authentic to herself and still having a purpose for herself and morals and values that she stood by, that she did not let anyone shake her out of. I think that's very inspiring and something I try to carry with me in my platform and whatever I'm trying to build. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, of course. So
Okay, so what is the most memorable moment that highlights your career so far?
So like there was something that happened earlier this year, and it's like
Okay, come on, tell me
it's
about
it's
it.
like it's like it's like I can't say what it is
Oh dang.
because of like the 20 NDAs I signed. But I'm gonna let you know
Mhm.
that when it does come out next year, it's probably gonna change my life.
Absolutely.
That's the one thing. That's the one thing. It was so hush hush. I got booked for it underneath a different name.
Mhm.
I showed up to the place. I'm there. I'm like, okay, what's this for? They still wouldn't tell me what it was for. They were like, just look at the screen. And when I looked at the screen and I saw what it was, I knew exactly what it was. And I was like, oh. And then after that, they also emailed me again saying, you cannot say anything about this. Here's another NDA. So with that being said, they're very serious about their NDAs. These people can't even say the company. Okay, yes. Can't even say that. Just know when that comes out. I'm also a really big fan of the franchise. Really excited about that. Whenever it comes out, I'm very, very thrilled to be a part of that. Thrilled to be a part of that. For sure.
Okay, so we're gonna check back inside of a year
Yeah,
when
check.
it comes
Just
out.
let's circle back in like a year. I got you. You know, yeah. Within like a year, you know, you can check the IMDb. It is, you know, yeah, no, but yeah.
Happy to have you on set, man. I think you're inspiring people already, and you're not even uploaded yet. So what I wanted to do, the Nothing to Fear podcast is about the community. So
Very much so.
I want the people to know a little bit about your background, your ethnicity.
For sure.
Like, I mean, look
Cool.
in the camera and let them know because you wanted to inspire someone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I actually grew up in Randolph, New Jersey. It's like a predominantly like white, small suburban town in New Jersey. My dad comes from a Trinidadian background, and my mom is mixed. She is half white and half black. And so I feel like it's very interesting when it comes to my background. Growing up, and I know a lot of like black people that grew up in suburbia can relate to this. There's like a weird, like you were trying to find your identity, but like you don't see it around you, and you don't really like coming up. I didn't really see it too much on TV. There wasn't like too much diversity that I was really seeing that much. So it was like a struggle for me to find myself, which is why I love the arts because that was the thing that helped me find my voice in an area that I was afraid to speak up, in an area that I was afraid to like stand out because I already stood out based off my skin tone. I was like afraid to speak out even more so because I was always the weird person. But I don't even think I was weird. I just think that I was eclectic. But like, you know, I didn't fit like the stereotype of what they thought a black person should be. So like they were like, you're weird. And I'm like, okay, facts. let me go put this into like my art real quick. And that's what I did. I would shut in and kind of like
Embrace it. Really.
embrace it very much so. I was like, okay, maybe I'm a little weird, maybe I'm a little eclectic. Let me make a dance about it. Like let me write a poem about that. That was pretty much how I found myself in that regard. And my dad, like very much so, he was from Trinidad, then he moved out to the Bronx when he was about 15. And he's a proud Trinidadian, but there is a sort of like assimilation that he did kind of like fall into when he came out here. So he's never really been back, which is something that I've always been like, well, I want to go. I want to see what the tea is.
Of course.
I want to be connected to my roots.
You want to eat some doubles?
Oh my God, I love doubles. Yes.
You wanna eat
Curry
some
goat,
doubles?
what's up?
Yeah.
If
some
you know,
roti.
you know. Yeah, some roti. Yes.
What?
Yes. Some oxtail.
Yeah, some shark.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, you know how that goes.
Some whiting.
So, well, it's good to have your parents are very supportive, and
Very much so.
I'm
Very,
glad
very,
that your
very.
family really support. That's so key when you're like pursuing such a creative field of absolutely. Now, I do see where you're coming from, right? So, what advice do you feel like you can give to people that are looking to go into that type of career field? That are looking to start off, that are inside those positions where they are the person that doesn't stand out, or that does stand out so much that they don't really know what to do?
I think, and this is what I've told someone else that I went to school with at the time, and now she's also acting and doing her thing, and she was like, "You were the person that helped, like, you were the catalyst that pushed me to do what I want to do. So thank you." And this was years ago. She was getting bullied. I pulled her aside. I'm like, I know this hurts right now. I know this is very heavy for you right now, but I need you to understand that this is energy that they're giving you. And it's on you to be able to take that energy and flip it into something else,
Something positive.
something positive. So whenever people were bullying me or coming at me or calling me all these names or like misidentifying me, I would use it and put it into my art. So it was like there's all these different means and ways of expression. Don't be afraid to experiment.
So you use
Don't
it.
be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to try things. And that's another thing is we're in an era where social media, I was talking to Anton about this earlier. People are afraid to like be bad at things. They're afraid to put out things that they think may not get as many likes. That's just art. Not everything we make is good all the time. You know, it's about experimentation and finding yourself. If you feel like other people don't understand you, that's okay. Do you understand you?
There's some people out there who's gonna understand it.
Exactly.
There's 9 billion people in the world.
Oh damn, sorry, that's my phone.
Yeah.
She like swipe, like turn.
Yep.
turn. I'm so sorry.
Okay, no worries. We're no worries. It's a part of it. You know what I mean? So, how do you maintain your mental health in
Wow.
such a demanding
Yes.
industry? How do you maintain it?
Thank you so much for asking that because I'm such a mental health advocate. I'm very passionate about it, especially for artists. We're very emotional human beings.
Of course.
I go to therapy personally. I have a therapist. I also enjoy doing physical activity. I think, you know, people don't really talk about how if you go through something traumatic, it actually gets stored in the body. So it's like, that's why when you get triggered, it feels like you're like going through that thing again because you never processed it properly. So it's still in your body. A good outlet is definitely exercise. I love yoga just because like the alignment and the breathing is really good for release as well.
Yeah, for the lungs.
Meditation for sure, journaling. And everyone has their thing, you know, like, to be honest, hair care is very meditative for me.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I'm sure you can
I
relate.
totally there. Like, oh my gosh, when I'm like down, I literally have times where I just do my whole face. I get my makeup done, and I
Yes.
will literally just be inside the mirror, just like, yep,
Yes,
this is it.
it makes you feel good because
it-
you're taking care of yourself, and that feels good. Like, what does it mean to take care of yourself? Figure that out for yourself, and then when you're down and out, make sure that you have that because it's hard. It's a hard industry.
And it's an act of self-love, of course.
It's an act of self-love as well.
Like I have clientele, like I cut hair, so everybody know that by now. So sometimes my clientele will be like, because I'm cutting hair for so long, I kind of study how everyone here texture and the skin type. So I'm not only just cutting hair. That's why I tell you earlier that I'm not a barber. I'm
A groomer.
groomer, or stylist,
Yeah.
whatever name you want to call it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they be not taking care of themselves the way they should, and I'm like, yo, bro, come on, stop saying that. Like,
Yeah.
that's self-care. That's you. Look yourself in the mirror. You self-care. You at least have 10 minutes. Give yourself 10 minutes to give yourself a proper shave in the morning so you don't break out. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, there's no excuses. I don't care what amount of stuff you have to do. You got to be first.
And shout out to all the barbers out there, man. Y'all be doing God's work, okay?
Yeah,
Y'all
right.
are like, you're like a groomer, a therapist, like a multitude of things. You know, and I think that that's really important. So shout out to you for that, for
Thank
sure.
you. Appreciate it.
100%. I see what you're doing,
Yeah.
for sure.
But that's also, I tell my friends this all the time. Do one thing for yourself at least once a day. I promise you, you feel so much better about life.
I completely agree.
Like,
Doesn't have to be
could
major.
It could be the smallest thing. Like one of my friends, she just gets her lashes done once a once a month. She'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I feel like myself again." It's
That's her thing.
yeah, like you just
That's
gotta
her act
find
of
your thing.
self-care. She feels like a baddie, you know, and that's who she is. She is who she thinks she is.
Exactly.
You know?
Okay, so what is your favorite campaign or like model shoot that you have done so far?
So, like, I think my favorite campaign was probably when I modeled for Foot Locker and Nike. That one was a big deal to me just because it's Nike, you know, and it's very accredited. Everybody loves Nike. And the people that casted me for that, I believe they're called the Palette Group, that production company. I love the way that they curated their set. It was so welcoming. It was so much fun. There were like all these different ethnicities and different like age groups that were there. It was very diverse. And I just really appreciate like a nice fun set because I really feel like when you have fun on set, it shows in the work you're doing. Like whenever someone is having a good time, which is why Anton and I did a shoot and I was trying to make it like a fun, like kind of like vibe. It shows in the pictures or whatever you're doing. Like when
Yeah.
people are having a good time,
You could see.
there's no stress on the
Yeah, you could
face
see, you
or
could
they don't
see
look
it.
uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I really appreciate that.
And that's a
They
part of
curated that. So
that's a
thank-
part of that's a part of accepting yourself for who you are. Stay happy.
stay
You know what I
happy.
mean? And accept people for who they are. It's not easy. It's not the easiest thing.
It's not
But
easy.
if you really want to grow as a
Mhm.
person, you got to apply those qualities to yourself on a daily basis.
Not to mention, I really feel like if you can make this work for yourself, I know it's very stressful and we live in New York City.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone's always thinking about the next thing. Like you achieve something, you're like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? Someone asks you, like, you just did something. They're like, okay, what are you doing after that? You know what I mean? It's okay to sit in the things that you just accomplished and to be happy about it and to take it in and to celebrate that.
Of course.
Don't let people like rush you out of your achievements. If you're making it work for yourself, there are not a lot of people that can do that. That is amazing. And you should feel very proud of yourself. 100%.
Which is right. So, how do you approach developing a character for a role?
Oh yeah, okay. This is one of my favorite topics. Okay. There's layers to this. So first read through, I read the script just to understand like story mechanics and what the heck is going on. I'm like, okay, what is this story about? Second read through, I read and I'm like looking at my actual character to understand like what they're saying and understand like their kind of dynamic in the story. Third read through, I look at the other people and I look at what they say about my character because from what my acting teacher has told me, a lot of times when someone is saying something about your character, it's most likely true. So you should like take that in your characterization for how other people perceive your energy as well. Then after that, I just really go in. I look at the background, where they grew up, family kind of dynamic, educational background. I maybe think of physicality, how they walk, are they injured, how would they talk, and dialect based off of where they live. I think of if there's a scene with someone, I'm like, who am I talking to? What's our relationship? And what do I want? What's the objective? Because that's in every scene. You're talking to someone based off of how you feel about that person, the relationship dynamic, and you're understanding like you always want something in every scene. Like that's what pushes the story forward. What's the conflict, and what are you trying to get from that other person to achieve that, like to fix and mitigate that conflict? And then there's different layers and, actually like what you look like and whatnot. But also one of my biggest takeaways that I like to do from a dancer standpoint, I actually love to curate a playlist for my characters because I have a dance background and I used to have difficulty getting into the emotional realm of my characters. I felt stuck in my body. So what I would do is I would make a playlist that I felt like really hit the nail on the head for my character or what they're feeling at that time, and I listen to it and it helps me get into the physicality and the emotional kind of like realm of what my character is feeling at that time.
You heard that?
But that's so beautiful to go
Of
out there
course.
and like actually be able to embody someone else.
Thank
Like
you.
I
A lot of
want-
research.
It's
Oh my
a
God.
lot of research. Like you actually got to understand like how people move, how people operate, how people go out there and react to certain situations. That's like you're literally coming outside of yourself to embody someone else. That's
Thank you.
very. give
Thank you,
props,
sis.
okay? Like-
I'm not gonna hold you. It's hard, and you know what? A lot of people, I've seen that in the past. A lot of like the bigger actors, they're like, if you want to do this, that's great, but just know it's a lot of work. Being on set like back to back, I'm so grateful for these past couple months. I was in a horror feature film. It's called Don't Hang Up. I booked another feature film. That one's up in the air. We're not going to talk about that one. But I'm shooting a web series called Brownstone, like I mentioned before. I've been on all these different sets and like learning all these different kind of things. It's a lot of work. And then depending on the medium, if it's a feature film or if it's like a sitcom or something like that, there's a different rhythm for how you speak.
Have you ever gotten like super in depth with inside of a character as well? Because like Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey, he definitely embodies some characters.
Yeah.
And it's like actually hard to differentiate who
Yes.
he is compared to the
Yes.
characters that he plays. Like, have you ever had that moment?
I actually literally had that recently because the horror film that I filmed, it was called Don't Hang Up. That one was about So my character and my family, we died during the Tulsa Race Massacre inside of this home. So I did a lot of research on the Tulsa Race Massacre, and just understanding like the background about that and martial law and how our government participated in that and how like 1,200 different. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You can go ahead.
You might want to hit the stop button so it doesn't like. I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, the stop. Yeah, period. Thank you so much. Okay, let me start that over. I'm sorry. My bad.
It's okay.
Ça passe.
What's up?
Yeah. So I actually I'll start over. I
Go ahead.
I actually have gotten really in depth with the character before because my last character, it was based during the Tulsa Race Massacre. My character and her family died during the Tulsa Race Massacre. So I had to do research on that phenomenon, understanding like how it was martial law and our government participated in that, and like 1,200 different homes got bombed during that phenomenon. It was a lot of black trauma. And the people that suffered through that, their families never got reparations from that, and they never financially recovered from that. So it was interesting how I had to tap into that kind of emotional realm to bring life to my character. And when I was done, I want to say for the next like week in a like 2 weeks, I was going through an emotional hangover. I was talking to my other actors about it that were in the movie. We all went through it, where it's like you spend so much time with that story, with that character, in that like vibration. You start to believe it. Your body, when you're acting, it doesn't realize you're acting. Your body goes into fight or flight mode, and it thinks like this is real. Oh man! Like if you look at like American Horror Story, there's this one actress. Her name is Sarah Paulson. She talked about this. She goes, I'm always screaming and crying, and when I'm done, I'm like huddled in a corner shaking, and people know not to talk to me because my body doesn't realize that I'm acting, and I need you, like social distancing, like 6 feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like give me a little bit of breathing room.
COVID-19.
COVID-19 that.
Yeah.
So I can like ground myself, and I think that's what I really appreciate about the different sets I've been on is they understand. I had to cry 15 times in a row one day, and then the next day I cried maybe like 7 times in a row for like my characterization. It's cool I was able to dig into that, but I promise you, like the hangover that I felt afterwards, it took a lot for me to ground myself. I'm not gonna lie. And that's okay. It like I appreciated that I was able to tell that story. It upsets me that's not in our history books, but you know, it is what it is.
So, remember, this is a Nothing to Fear podcast, and we're here to inspire. So, we're going to take a quick break because we have some more to ask a beautiful actress over here. We're going to dig in her brain a little bit, and so you can inspire one of you guys. Yeah, we're back, and we're back here with a beautiful Asha Rose.
Thank you.
We're gonna dig into your brain a little bit more, but we want you to tell the people where they can find you on social media. Like, give it to them.
Okay, so you can follow your girl on Instagram at Dancer of Storms, and I don't have a tick of the talk. I think they call that TikTok. I think the TikTok. That's what the kids are saying. Don't really have one of those. Don't really have Twitter, but follow me on the gram at Dancer of Storms. You already know.
Yeah, go follow her, please. Yeah, show her some love. And remember, she have movies and she's in shows and Netflix.
Ooh, not yet, but shoot, let's manifest that.
Of course.
I was saying Amazon Prime, but Netflix, that's a flex. I'm down, yeah.
We're manifesting that right
Netflix,
now.
hit me up, bro. What's up?
Oh, what's good?
Your girl is ready, okay? Maybe next year. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh wait, since we're on the topic of social media,
Yeah.
what type of content do you actually produce on social media, and what inspires your content?
So it's interesting because I actually produce a lot of modeling, kind of like visuals. I started off doing it for myself, but I actually do it for an assortment of different other models as well. I like producing editorials predominantly, or something that just kind of like has a story to it. Sometimes I start with like a song, and I'm like, oh, I like this song. I think I want to tell. There's like elements of acting in it. There's elements of dancing in it. I kind of just mix it all together to create a story behind the vision, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Definitely makes sense. I'm a visual person, so I definitely hear you.
Photographer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Photography, I do it. a lot of things you do. As
And
well.
surface too.
So,
So
you should get on TikTok though.
Oh, the
You should-
TikTok.
Yeah, you should get up there.
TikTok,
Are you guys on the talk?
Yeah.
Tick?
Yeah, you should get on it.
Yeah, you should
Yeah.
get on it.
Okay, you know what? I was thinking that the past week, so maybe.
You like to talk, people
Yeah,
really
yeah.
just want to go out there and actually learn. Like,
Yeah.
if you go out there and actually start inspiring people, talking about the same things, as far as how to get there or just your journey in general,
Yep.
it'll also give you another way to inspire others.
Yeah, big time. You should get up
Well, you're
there.
both on TikTok?
Yeah, I'm up there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to
there,
get that
I'm up
after,
there,
after
I'm
this
up
is
there.
done, just so you know.
I'm at like
Yeah.
like 10,000 followers on TikTok.
Oh.
But my
That's a
Instagram,
flex.
my Instagram is a lot better. It's like at 23 now.
Okay, see.
23K now.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
so-
okay, bet.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know who I'm talking to. Okay,
What I want you to do for me, I want you to look in the camera and can you share your most memorable moments or highlights from your career so far?
So I feel like I did kind of speak about the moment, but I couldn't say what it was. Oh, I'll talk about another one. So another very memorable moment in my career was probably when I modeled for Vogue Italia and was featured in there twice actually. So that was one of my most memorable moments. Actually, one of them happened in the beginning of my career. I was working with a photographer. We were collaborating. Didn't really know much about him. He was like this Italian photographer, but he seemed very serious about his craft. He saw I was serious about the craft. We collaborated with each other. He told me to hold some carrots. It was part of the vision. I didn't get it at the time, but he's like, I'm gonna submit this. I'm like, okay. And then we got in. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. So shout out to LA for the carrots.
There
Thank
go.
you
Shout
so
out
much.
to Ale.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
And then the second time, it was I would say about 2 years ago. I was modeling for this editorial with this other photographer. Her name is Erica Janae. And that one was more dance inclusive. It was called Painted. And a lot of us, we had some nude artists. I was not fully nude, but it was fun. It was like about like the different paint and the eclectic hair and just like black statuettes in the form of like a Greek statuette, but with like melanated skin. That was the premise of the project. And then that got on the front page of Vogue Italia, actually, on the website and everything. So that was very exciting.
I want to see that now.
You want to see that? Okay, yeah, I'll definitely share that one with you. One of my favorite projects for sure. That one was really fun.
Yeah. So what we want to do, we do this all the time. I want you to look in the camera and inspire somebody out there who's struggling to make up their mind in the acting game, the modern game. So just tell them.
Hello out there. Sorry. Sorry, let me start over. Okay.
We got it.
You gotta get serious. Hold on.
Yeah, sorry.
Closer.
Hey, friends, if you're really trying to do this, like you're trying to be an artist, Anton, stop laughing. You're messing me up. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hello, guys and gals. Sorry, I don't know how to start it. Okay. Hey, guys, if you're actually trying to be an artist, I definitely think that you should go for it. My biggest advice is to just start. In the beginning of my career, I spent so much time asking other people what they thought I should be doing. And I would keep getting different answers. I would keep having people be like, you got to do it this way. No, I think you should try it this way. And there were so many options, I was afraid to start. I know people that are like that right now, and they still haven't started because they're just afraid of being bad at it. You might be bad at it at first. That's okay. Fail in the right direction.
There you go.
Fail as many times as you need to, as long as you keep learning. There's always a lesson in every obstacle and every failure that you go through. Start and fail in the right direction. But you have to start. You have to pick a lane. If it's not for you, at least you know because you tried it. Don't let other people determine what you can and can't do. Ask for advice if you need it, but then take it and actually try. Don't be afraid to try things. Don't be afraid to dabble. Don't be afraid to get creative in whatever medium it is, but try.
There you go. You have anything to take it out? Because we're about to close out. So anything to say?
Well, one is try. It's consistency as well. Don't just try and then just stop. Be consistent with it, okay? Because I could definitely get you way farther in life just being consistent with just doing projects.
Amen.
Overall. You never know what can actually pop off.
Exactly. It's always the most random stuff, too,
Yeah,
nowadays.
Definitely.
You peep
What?
that, right?
Oh my gosh, I did this one shoot, right? and it was literally just a collaboration shoot. I just went to go get my nails done. The nail artist, she ended up spotlighted on New York Fashion Week, and I ended up on a billboard.
Girl, what?
4 years later, I ended up on a New York City billboard,
That's
and it was literally just a
crazy.
project that I was just like, yeah, this is cool. No, I ended up on a New York City billboard. It was
Look,
like,
you never know. You heard it here first. You never know.
That's
Don't be
why.
afraid to try and be
be consistent.
Consistent.
Be consistent.
And remember, that's why this podcast is nothing
To fear.
Nothing to fear.
Nothing to fear. And guys, until next time, I'm Blanco Pro. I'm so happy to have the talented Ashley Rose in set. And
Hey.
for a while, I haven't had my co-host in set, but we're here. And this is the Nothing to Fear podcast. Remember, like, share, and subscribe.
Subscribe.
And bring someone to the community. Until next time, may God goes with you all. Peace and blessings.
Welcome to Nothing to Fear podcast. I go by the name Chris Blanca Pro. I started this podcast to share my untold story, my truths, and my journey, and my close relationship to Jesus Christ. And I want you to create a life on your own terms. We always have a choice. This podcast is about career, hustle, perseverance, manifestation, fun, sport, entertainment, relationship goals, and